And even tonight, you're still casting doubt on the legitimacy of the election. You're doing a tremendous disservice to this country, Senator Lee. You have betrayed your oath to the Constitution with this.
You know that's not true. You, sir, owe me an apology.
That was from last night's Utah Senate debate between Republican incumbent Mike Lee, who we've invited on this show, no response, and independent challenger Evan McMullen. McMullen is a true free agent. He says he will not caucus with either party, Democrats or Republicans, if elected. But to do that, he's got to get elected. Can he pull it off? Let's ask him right now. Evan McMullen joins us. It's good to see you.
Good to see you too, Chris.
Thank you for taking the opportunity. Appreciate it. Thank you for being part of it. First things first. I saw that your campaign is circulating a poll that you may be up in the race. 538, most of the major prognosticators have Lee almost as a sure thing. Why do you believe you can win?
Well, actually, the polls that are most credible, setting aside the polls with sample sizes of 200 or 300 or something like that, the credible polls done by the local paper here, Deseret News, and the top pollster in Utah, and our own internal polls show that we're either up by 4 or down by 4 within the margin of error. So this is a statistically tied race, still with lots of undecideds, between 10 and 12% undecided. And so we've got a real opportunity to win this. Most of the undecided voters are not Lee supporters, which is good. We just have to reach them with our message. Of course, right. Lee is very well known in the state. My name ID is growing. We're in the mid-80s now, but we still need to reach those undecided voters. If we can reach them, I know that we'll have a good chance of winning, actually. It's a dead heat race.
Substance and then politics. You got upset at him for holding up a constitution, and you made the charge that Mike Lee is a January 6th denier in terms of the impact and importance of that day, even though he was, by all accounts, scared for his life in there, and that he questioned the election. He said, "No, I do not, and you owe me an apology." Your response?
Well, look, the public record is what it is, Chris. I mean, nobody has to take my word for it. And in fact, I encourage everyone not to take my word for it. Go ahead and Google Senator Lee or Mike Lee's text messages to Mark Meadows, and you can find them and you can read them. And you can see that Senator Lee urged the White House to find fake electors to overturn the election. He thought that offered the greatest opportunity for success for that goal. He urged the president to keep fighting. Those were his words, despite having lost the election. He urged the White House to make time for Sidney Powell, what I've called a legal quack who was advising the president on a bunch of conspiracy theories intended to overturn the election. Senator Lee then went and spent hours and hours, by his own account, 14 hours a day, calling into swing states, trying to unravel the election for President Trump. And that's a matter of public record. Anyone can read those texts, and I encourage anyone to do that, everyone. And then to ask yourself the question, is this someone who sounds like he's committed to defending the Constitution? And Senator Lee has long had this habit of pulling his pocket Constitution out of his coat and suggesting that he's committed to it and defending it. But look, you can't be a constitutional conservative if you betray the Constitution. And that's what Senator Lee did in trying to find fake electors to overturn the election. He betrayed his oath to the Constitution and betrayed, I think, even the idea of America. And it's a very dangerous thing, and he needs to be held accountable for it.
So in terms of accountability, have you changed your position on reproductive rights? Because it used to seem that you were more of a, what would be called pro-life. I believe everybody's pro-life. It's about reproductive rights. You seem to me, looking at the record, you used to be against choice for reproductive rights, and now you seem to have moved in a different direction. What's the truth?
Well, I'm still pro-life. I've always believed in the sanctity of life. And increasingly over the last several years, I've grown concerned about the extremes in our politics. And anyone who's followed me, Chris, knows that. I've been talking about it nonstop. And I call it out when I see it on the far right or the far left. I think the extremes in our politics have gained far too much influence. So now the Supreme Court has made a change, and now states around the country are passing laws. Some of them are extreme. And some of them are putting women and children and the unborn at risk because they would force a 10-year-old rape victim, for example, to have to carry a pregnancy to term. I think that's wrong. And so I'm committed to standing up to the extremes on this issue, frankly, on both sides, and also finding a more constructive way forward. There is a more constructive way forward. It doesn't require this never-ending tug of war over the law. We can respect individual liberty and protect the unborn by making contraception more available and doing more to support women, children, and families, and improving education on related matters for our youth. That's what actually lowers the abortion rate in America. And most Americans and most Utahns can agree to that. I'm committed to that. I'm committed to finding a more constructive way forward. My opponent has been lying about my position throughout the entire campaign, but I'm not going to exploit this issue like so many others do to raise money and hold on to power. We have to have leaders who will chart a more constructive way forward on this issue. It's there for us if we'll just acknowledge that we do have common ground even on this difficult issue.
I think that the difficulty of it is it's not about when, right? Because viability was already an accepted standard. You could, recalibrate that, bring in scientists, whatever. It's about who. And either women have the right to choose what happens to their body or they don't. And right now on the federal level, they don't. But I'll tell you what, Evan McMullen, I appreciate you making the case here. Thank you very much. I'm watching your race because as an independent who says I won't caucus with the Democrats, even though the Democrats didn't put somebody in this race, clearing the way for you is a very, very strong position. And I want to see what happens if you win. We'll be watching, and I appreciate you coming on here.
Thanks so much, Chris.
All right, take care and good luck. All right, NewsNation is really following these key Senate races because as the Senate goes, so is going to go this country in terms of any shot at any progress. We are the exclusive network home for the Pennsylvania Senate debate, okay? Fetterman and Oz is a must-watch race, especially now that Fetterman's health has become an issue. Fair or unfair, it is. Coverage begins of this debate Tuesday, October 25th at 7 p.m. Eastern on Debate Night in America, live from Harrisburg. I will have the analysis after the debate. I will bring you into that to get your thoughts as well.